Good afternoon. Um, Today we're making, I think it's really called the Lattice table topper. This says split rail, but it's been changed. It's called the Lattice table topper. And it takes one charm pack. This is not the fabric we're doing it in today. A yard for this inner border and the blocks around the outside, and a yard of the contrasting fabric, and does a binding also. So I'm going to show you. If you need, this one finishes at 41 inches square, 41 by 41. If you need a quick project, this is it. Let me tell you, I've got my pieces cut. Today we're going to do the inside part. We have 36 blocks. And let me show you, the block is not what you think. The block is, that's the block. There's just 3 pieces to it. Your sashing is in it. So then you just sew them all together and you don't have to do any sashing in between or anything like that. So we're going to start with fabric piece number 1. It's a 1-inch strip by 6.5. Put the wrong side facing up. We're going to put our block on top of it, and we're going to center space number 1. That's this space right here. We're going to center it on that piece of fabric. We can put a pin in it to hold it in place, to get it turned over. And I put these together randomly. My only rule for myself is try not to put the same fabric on the same block. So we're going to put right sides together, just kind of center that. And then we're going to turn it over, and we're going to stitch on that line between space 1 and space 2. And it really doesn't matter if you accidentally do space 3. Whoops, let's get this centered. We're going to sew on that line. And when I cut these strips, and I'm just going to keep on sewing because then I'm going to just do another one. When I cut these strips for piece number 1, you cut 12 1-inch by width of fabric strips, and then I stacked them. I left them folded. Folded in half like they come off the bolt. And I stacked 4, 4, and 4. So all 12. I had 3 rows of the 1-inch strips, and then I cut off the selvage, and then I cut at 6.5 3 times, and all those pieces were cut. I needed 72 of them. So those were cut that fast. And then this is made from a charm pack. So I just opened up the charm pack and I took 6 or 7 squares at a time and cut them once diagonally, and all my cutting is done for the center part of the quilt. That fast. It's awesome. If you need a quick project. And I think I'm going to do 6 at a time. 12 if I would normally do 12 at a time. but I want to show you the complete thing. Center this, and I use down here, you see that's the other side of the block, but it helps you center it up. And if this isn't perfectly straight, it's okay. It's the line that's giving you the perfection. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll do 2 more. And I do have this fabric kit is available. I did this as a baby quilt. I did it bigger. I did more blocks. And I needed I need, like, me, so many times waiting till the last minute. And I took a layer cake, which would give me 144 blocks. I think I did my math right. It was 144 blocks. And, it goes really, really fast. And I'll show you another way you could set these to get started. I'll do that on the next one. If you're new here, we're sewing on our leave-in foundations. I'm going to take the next. This will be piece number 1. I could get my strip here. Put this strip right sides together, kind of center it, and then put the block on it. It's a little faster. I showed you the other way because that's the way we start all of our blocks with. But for this particular block, this really works easier. Okay, so we've got 6 of them, piece 1 and 2 sewn together. And let me just cut them apart. Anyway, these are our leave-in foundations. You use a regular stitch length, and when you get done and get it all put together, you don't have to tear out any paper. And they're so lightweight. You won't know they're in your quilt. Okay, let me make sure my iron has restarted. Always got to be one oddball. And we're just going to press that open. This is going to be a nice little fall table topper. And the nice thing about this one is we're not even going to have to trim. Okay, so those are all pressed, and now we're going to do the other half. And I'm going to work off of a different, it's the same set of charm squares, but I kind of mixed them up. Somebody moved. There we go. Hope everybody's having a good weekend. Hi, Denise. We are making a lattice table topper. Oh, Thursday was, I had a doctor's appointment in the morning, but then I had to do some little lab work. So I thought I'd be home in plenty of time, but it didn't work out that way. But all is good. All kinds of good news on Thursday, so. And I spent yesterday doing inventory and packing for the quilt show, which is a little over 2 weeks away. And I never get packed that early. So I'm feeling very good. Hi, Sandy. Thanks for being here, guys. This is a super, super quick project. And if you're like me, I think I talked about this before. I love the pre-cuts because you get a nice variety of fabrics. I never know what I'm going to do with them when I get them, but they're inexpensive. And this one is, it requires 2 1-yard pieces of coordinating fabrics. And of course, you don't have to use Charm Pack. Actually, the outside blocks on this one are all made from this one fabric. One of the contrasting, or one is a 1-yard cut is what I call a contrasting color, which is this dark brown that's going down the center of the blocks. And we have then I have a floral that will be the inner border and the outside blocks. Okay, so I've got 6 blocks sewn. Excuse me. 6 blocks sewn that fast. And we do have this, excuse me, my kits are for the table topper. We also do a table runner with this block. This block also would make a very nice border block, like a zigzag block or border. It's this is what we're making, but see this border, you could put that on any quilt. And we do sell this just block packages if you wanted to use it for a border. And I do try very hard not to have, that's kind of boring, oh well. I try not to make any blocks the same, but that's just me. Okay, and then we're gonna take our little ruler, we're gonna trim around all 4 sides, 1/4 inch from the solid line. This comes as a pattern, and like I say, it comes as a pattern. You can get the table topper, 41 inches by 41 inches, table runner, lattice table runner, and then if you want the blocks, I believe the blocks are listed under split rail, because these are they're called a split rail block, and they finish at 4 inches. So there's your block. Oh no, let me trim the rest of these. And I don't like to sew these together particularly until they're all done, because I really like to get my colors laid out. This was the first quilt I made for a fabric company. This one right here. They sent me a charm pack and said, "What can you do with this?" So I told them I wanted a yard of the coordinating fabric, and then I just used it. It had black in it, so I had black, and that's what I made. So that's how that one got designed. Yeah, that's me. I find when I go in my stash, I have a stack of charm packs, and it's just when I go to a quilt show or something, and that's about the only things I buy when I'm at a quilt show, whether I'm vending or not, because I like the variety of fabrics that come in them. And I'm a fabricaholic, so but yeah, I've made a number of these, and I really do. It is a great way to use a charm pack. And you'll see, like, I don't want to put them together yet, but you can make a nice block. And you can lay them out a lot of different ways. I think on one of the baby ones that I made, I purposely laid them out differently. I should have got those out. I laid them out, when I turn this one, I'll show you. On the blue one, I think I did it in blues and browns. I did it, and then thinking about the quilting, I laid it out. I mean, this would be the way you would like for this. Only I think the instructions say it's 6 blocks by 6 blocks, so, lay out your rows and sew them together. But on the one, I just did my rows were like this. And then I think I did the next row, I turned it opposite. So you ended up with their mirror. This one would be like that. See that these are both going the same direction. So they were like channels to quilt in. Like that. It was a chevron, I guess is what you'd call that. But then it just continuously across. So it provided a neat way. I did a narrow thing of feathers on one, and then I did something different in the next row, and I alternated them. So that's just another way you could do it. We won't even go there about all the beautiful fabrics. And I had to get over, you buy this beautiful fabric and not always, sometimes you have a project in mind, but then I look at it and it's so beautiful, I hate to cut it. What if the quilt doesn't come out, like I envision? And then I'll be sad that I used that fabric. But I had to get over that. What did I do? 7? 2, 4, 5. I did 7. I can't even count. I also bought a bolt or several of the plaid. I was thinking, I had a little different vision for how I was going to put this together. I love plaids on the bias for binding. So I may include that. So you have an option of either this dark brown for the binding or plaid. But I think I will offer cuts of the plaid for the backing. But we didn't even have to trim anything on this one. That's what makes this one go so fast. You know, trimming with the add a quarter. So there I have seven blocks done already. So now let's do the other 5 I had cut here ready to go. So I'm gonna, I don't know why I have this all thrown around and messed up here. Do this and put this. I don't know. I didn't look to see. I'm terrible. If Laura did a live yesterday, I know the poor girl. Now she's got a cold. She's got so much going on. Whoops. Donald, we FaceTimed with the kids this morning, and Donald said Laura was up all night coughing and coughing. So the tension is still holding good with the wrong bobbin in here. So if anybody, you know anybody who has a Jazz 2, a Baby Lock Jazz 2, mechanical or electronic, it's electric, but computerized, whatever, and have complained about it not holding the bobbin tension, all I did was switch out the bobbin from a class 15 to a 66, and it's holding tension really good. So I'm very happy. So you guys, when I get these 5 done, that'll be a third of the center of the quilt. That fast. So you can see it is a very quick project. And now we don't have to trim. Now I believe I may just, I believe it says cutting instructions say to cut these 1 1/4 inches wide. If you want to cut them 1 inch wide, and I think I will, the patterns that are already published, I don't have a ton of them left. I'll leave them as is, but I think I will make notes in the new ones that we print to tell you if you want to cut them 1 inch. The reason they say 1 1/4 inches is because I like to leave a little bit of leeway there, so if your cutting isn't accurate, it's not going to mess you up. Ooh, that's a pretty one I haven't used yet. That looks pretty. Yeah, this really is a fast project. Especially, like I say, if you cut that center strip and even and you can leave it at 1 1/4 and not trim it. Just make sure you center it. There is enough extra fabric in the half square triangles cut from the charm pack. And of course, I was talking about making a baby quilt. One of the baby quilts I made, the pink one, I just used probably about 10 different pink fabrics I had in my stash. So, and you know, just cut with the fabric pieces that were 5 inches wide, strips 5 inches wide, and you get 8 5-inch squares across the width of a fabric. So this pattern takes 72, it's 72 blocks, so you need 72 5-inch squares and then cut them in half diagonally one time for 144 half square triangles. And that's all you need for the entire quilt. Oh, let's get a light colored one in here. There's some pretty fabrics in this collection. They're kind of nice, soft. It's called, this line is Rustle, R-U-S-T-L-E from Maywood Studios. Oops, one more. Ooh, that's... stitches. Okay, so that makes 12 blocks. I like to set my stitches before I open that up and press it. Gives you just a little bit flatter seam. Keep that going straight. Whoa, I think I missed that one. But that's a nice thing about using a regular stitch length. It's much easier to take the stitching out. And you won't even know you stitched on the foundation. Come on. There we go. Well, that was not what I planned. Okay, let's try this again. See, sometimes that's why pinning is good. Or looking when you turn it over to make sure your edges are at least kind of close. This is Rustle, R-U-S-T-L-E. And if you look on the website, it shows since this one's not done, I don't have the completed quilt to show you, but I do show the entire line of fabrics that are in the charm pack. And as soon as I get this one done, the completed quilt will be on there. Okay, so let's trim these up. And we'll have a third of it, well, a third of the inner, the center part. Will I use this one? You mean like for my personal? Eventually, this fall, I will be showing it at the quilt shows. And then I'll probably, I will keep it in for the shows until all the fabric kits are sold. And then hopefully have another, I like to go back and revisit a lot of these patterns and just remake them in different fabrics. I guess I keep some of the old standard patterns. I've retired a few. I have a pattern. I pulled out a quilt yesterday when I was going through quilts to pack for the show, and we really sold a lot of the fabric. It was started with a panel, and I probably for 2 years I sold every quilt show. I sold out of the panels. Luckily, I was able to keep reordering until I wasn't. And let me see if I can grab it. I'll show it to you. I got to put a tag on it, and it's cut a couple threads, but it's completely done. And I am going to put it up for sale. So I finally decided that I need to start breaking loose with some of the quilts that I've shown for a long time that I cannot even get fabrics close to what's in them. And then I have another one that, this one's cats. I have a throw quilt that's dogs that I didn't think I wanted to part with. But how many throw quilts do I need up at my house? So, and it's a really cute one. And then I have the same pattern done with the barnyard animals. Okay, guys, I have 12 of these made that fast. I'm just going to play with this because, like I say, I don't like to sew it together until I have all the blocks made. Oh, I'd like to play with it a little bit. 4, 5, 6. Oh, I think this is going to be very pretty. Let's see, fabric used there. Got to get your pattern going the right direction. See, I haven't got far enough into the collection to get a variety here. But this will give you an idea. No, that's the same. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of what it's going to look like. I'm not sure I'm going to set them that way. But it's kind of fun. Oh yeah, this is the one that I'm going to sell. I think this panel was, I actually have the coordinating fabric with it, is called Curious Cats. They're in an attic window. And I think they're all different. No, there's a couple repeats. And then it's got, I love the border. And then it's got paw print backing. You can. So I'm going to be selling this one. I can't remember what it measures. It's, you know, it's a small throw. I guess it could be, if you have a big table, it could be a table topper. But I sold all of those panels. Whoa, did we sell a lot of those? So, okay, I'm going to do, I guess we're going to do another 12 of these, but I got to cut them apart. You know, they come in a big, long piece of foundation. Oh, I really like that. See, now these are my colors. I like the muted fall colors. We were just talking the other day about fall being my favorite season. Gonna just mix these up. And then we'll just cut across. So you guys can see that if I would have had all these foundation blocks cut apart, this project would go very fast. And it's a, other than, like I say, I like to make sure I don't have the same fabric on both sides of the block. But now the border is going to be all from one fabric. So it will have. So this is going to be another 12 blocks. Okay. Let's see if I can do a little better job of not moving the fabrics after I put the foundation on. Yeah, we go round and round about that. My biggest sellers are usually ones that are completed, quilted, binding on. So Bob keeps insisting that they should all be done. And Laura and I like to say no, because it's nice to be able to show people what the back side of the quilt top looks like with the foundation on it. I mean, it makes it, I think it makes it, whoops. It makes it easier to explain. My needle, one. It makes it easier to explain what we're doing. So, in her case, I am sending her a few completed quilts, but she has made so many. But they're and most of hers are not quilted. But that's okay. I don't think it's going to make a big difference. I think it'll work just fine. My problem, I have a pattern. It's called a star sampler. It was, I believe it was our second block of the month that we ever did. And my girlfriend, who just happened to be here for a quick visit this morning, she made the first one, and it was kind of one of those, I didn't really have a plan, but she just said to me, you know, I love stars. Can you come up with something? So I did buy a lot of fabric from a line of fabric, and without a plan, and started designing star blocks. And she just started making them, and I eventually came up with a layout for all the blocks she'd made, and it ended up being a king-size quilt, and it's beautiful. I got it quilted. I had that one quilted. I didn't have a long arm at the time, and we sold all the fabric kits. So then I got another line of fabric. The first one we did was in these kind of colors, very rich looking fabric. And so then I got a line that was in blues. The main fabric that then I based the rest of the fabrics on was a beautiful navy blue background with flowers in neutral colors. So anyway, we did that. So I thought, well, I need a new sample, you know, in this fabric line. And I started with the center, and I got quite a bit done, but not all of it. And sold out of all the fabric. So I never finished the quilt. And that's the only thing about not having your quilts all finished, is there's no incentive to finish it if you sold all the fabric kits. So I'm thinking about reviving that one, updating it, doing a few new blocks in it, and laying it out a little bit differently. Because it is a beautiful quilt. If you look on the website, it's called a Star Sampler. I don't really need those that far away. Center. design. I don't know where I put it. I was going to show you guys. I'll show you when I get the quilt quilted. How's that? I did a kind of an intricate design I want to try. I hope I have time. I need to quilt the migrating Lone Star. I had really planned to quilt that when we were at Donald and Laura's in the, we were there March and April. February and March? I don't remember. I know we were there for quite a while. And I really, really wanted to use her sit-down long arm for that quilt. And just never got to it. So that was one I pulled out the other day that needs to go to the quilt show. And I thought, oh, I would like to quilt this one. So if I'm sewing on my vintage machine on Tuesday, it'll be because this is set up. It means I haven't finished quilting it. Look at that, guys. This is number 12. That fast. Now, if you have a layer cake, it will make 4 times as many blocks. So it'll be twice as wide and twice as high, or however wide you want it. Because you cut each 10-inch square twice. Once horizontal, once vertical, to make 4 5-inch squares from each 10-inch square. So this makes 42, you get 42 blocks from a charm square. So you get 42, 84, 168 of these blocks. And remember, they finish at 4 inches. Don't make me do the math. What did I say, 168? If you did 10 wide and 16 long, you'd have it 40 inches wide by, what's 4 times 16? That's 64. And then if you did a border, you'd have a nice throw quilt. For one one layer cake, and probably, you know, for this contrast down the middle, probably in a yard and a half. So let's press these. Wow. pretty fabrics. And I'm trying to think which one is the one, the coordinating fabric is, I think it's this one right here. Let's see, is it this one? No. It's this one. Yep, that one. That's going to be the outer blocks. Okay. Now, the nice thing is we don't have to go back and trim any of that. We get to get right on to make another half of these blocks. Okay, so the only thing I have to pay attention to here is that I don't put the same fabric on the other half. Right sides together, and let's get stitching. The only thing when I do the next batch of 12 is I will kind of go through the pieces that are left to make sure that I don't end up with my last two blocks having the same two pieces of fabric in them. And I don't try to get too matchy-matchy on these, you know, in each block, because the whole line of fabric goes together, so it really doesn't matter. I suppose you could lay it out so you have it more like a color wash, if that's your thing. And I'll bet it would be gorgeous. And I think at this point, you guys all pretty much know what I'm doing here. It gets kind of boring watching the same old thing. I'm going to keep working on this because I really want to have it done and show you on Tuesday. because I want it for the quilt shows. I need to get it done. Um, and on Tuesday, I'm not sure yet. Depends on how things go. I may have a new um, block to show you, thanks to a certain someone who watches us. I'm hoping I'll have that ready to show you. I'm going to pull that down just a tad. There we go. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish these up. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Hope you have something wonderful planned to do. And I hope you're going to get to do some sewing, some quilt piecing or quilting, or whatever. Oops, you know what, guys? I ran out of bobbin thread. Good time to stop. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and work on these this afternoon, and hope I can share a completed project with you on Tuesday and show you something new on Tuesday as well. So remember, this is the one. It is called the Lattice, not split rail. It's a split rail block that makes a lattice quilt, and it is on the website. This fabric kit is also available. This is available as split rail blocks or a lattice table runner. Lots of options. I thank you for joining me today. Remember, you can see Laura most Monday. Right now, things are a little crazy for her, so bear with her if she isn't there. But she's normally on Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 10 to noon Eastern time. And I'm on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from noon to 2 West Coast time. And again, I thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you next week. I hope you have a great weekend. Stay safe, and most of all, have fun quilting. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.